Trying to get parents more involved, but with no results. How can you help change this? Rakesh, if you want to start this and pass the microphone, right?
So I actually disagree with the question a little bit, because I think the level of parent involvement in our district is quite high. If you actually go into the classroom, you will see the level of involvement right from the classroom to school force, to events. In fact, I'm really amazed at the level of involvement that the parents have. What I would look forward for was when I came into the district, when I was a kindergarten parent, I really didn't know as much about the district or schools. I thought, dropping my kid off at the curb was it. That was it. Going into these meetings, going into school force meeting, going into the classroom meeting was what led me to start being more involved. So I honestly believe that we have a great thing going. I see the level of enrollment, involvement increasing every year, right from the room parents to PTA to school force. I definitely see a large involvement of parents.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think we have a lot of really awesomely involved parents in our district. I absolutely think there could definitely be more. I mean, most of us are working parents and, we can't get into the classroom, but usually if the schools communicate, hey, I know you can't be in the classroom, but here's what I need. I need a package of labels. Great, bam, here it is. I can provide that. I think if parents know what the need is, they're really anxious to fill that need. I think that we see that with school force being funded so well. We see that when our PTAs are funded well. That's an easy thing to do, to be able to write a check. It's harder sometimes to get in the classroom, but if there are things that we need parents to do, if they know what that is clearly and communicate that, I think, honestly, we kind of hop too. If a teacher says we need something, or a school says we need something, we listen because we know how valuable education is for our students, and we love our schools and we love our district. So
I guess it depends on what volunteering is. I think I know in some instances you have a lot of volunteers for one project, but then another you're not going to have many. One thing we could do is maybe partnership with other schools. There are overflow, willing parents to come out to other campuses to help out. I think that's something that we should reach out and see if we have more volunteers than I know there's out there. Thank you.
So how to increase the level of parent involvement in our schools? I mean, I think every parent wants to be involved and they care about their kids' education. But sometimes the ask just needs to be very specific. And it seems like oftentimes it's the same people doing a lot of the volunteering in different forms and different fashions. So once again, it's really trying to understand what parents are good at, what they're interested in, and kind of connect the dots, really, and ask specifically for help in a certain area, knowing that this parent has connections with this organization, or leveraging whatever we can leverage out of that parent's skills and passions. So I know that's a tall order, but that's really how we increase parent involvement across the board, is when we look at what their interests, passions, and skills are and try and ask them to help in those ways.
The issue is actually much deeper than getting a parent to volunteer in an individual classroom, because that pays you back. Usually your child's in there and you kind of get it back. The broader issue is, why aren't parents, and even non-parents, engaging with the school district as a whole? I've knocked on a lot of doors. I've probably annoyed some of you during dinner. I apologize. But in my talking to people in our district, it's clear to me that you cannot say we want people to be engaged and then ignore them when they attempt to engage you. You can't just sit there sullenly putting up with input. It's a matter of engaging them and first listening. The district has to listen to people to get them to feel that they're part of the process, and only then will they have significant engagement, and that's the path we have to go moving forward.
At Sandpiper Piper. I'm our PTA advocacy chair. I'm on the site council, and I'm a docent in my kids' classes for Art in Action. And I'm not unique. There are a lot of parents who are just like me. At the elementary school level, we have an overabundance of volunteers, which is fantastic. But there's a woman at the last forum who said something to me. She was an elderly woman, and I agree with her. She said, at the middle school level, why aren't we encouraged to volunteer in the middle schools? And I agree with her. I think that parents at the middle school level, and even those who don't have kids in our schools, retirees for instance, can be helpful in that process, particularly with Common Core implementation. I think we could implement a district-wide list of guest speakers so that any teacher could access that group of people who could give to the students, whether it's at elementary school level or middle school level. I guarantee you when people feel like they're involved in the process, they will not only fundraise, but they will be excited about the school district.
So, just specific, I mean, it's kind of hard to answer because I feel like our family is very involved, but we did have an incident where they needed drivers for a field trip, and my wife's like, ooh, you can't drive, you're not cleared. Okay, you don't have your background check. Here I am a teacher, but I can't drive on my kid's field trip. So if we could consolidate and streamline and make the whole background check and the insurance, gathering of insurance information more efficient, I think that would create more incentive for parents to say, hey, everybody's cleared as we're heading through the year, and we need a last minute field trip prep. You know, we had plenty of volunteers, somebody got sick, boom, we can plug people in. So provide those opportunities for the parent who maybe is, you know, you have a two-parent working household, they can't get in the classroom, but they can come to serve at the ice cream social event. So I think if we can streamline some of the background checks and the insurance and so forth, that would really be helpful for our parents. But in terms of involvement, I think it's the same parents that you see. We need to get a wide variety.
Now for closing remarks, Naomi, will you please start us off?
So as I've said in the past forums, doesn't matter what the outcome of the November election, I will continue to come to every school board meeting and really want to make sure that the promises that are made by the candidates are followed through. So from what I've observed the last 2.5 years, being a school board member is not an easy task, right? Because I made this decision because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of being scrutinized. I'm not afraid of being criticized. And I believe in community service. So as a board member, the main thing is that a dialogue be started with the community members at large, and not just the ones with children, and to make sure everyone's input is put into consideration. So I hope tonight has given you a little bit of insight of who I am, and we hope to continue this conversation we started. Because it will take both communities to successfully educate our children. And like I said in the beginning, children are our business, and they come first. Parents and community members are our partners. Continuous improvement in leadership and accountability is the key to our success. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, fellow candidates, made this campaign and election most interesting one in Belmont. I remember sure in a long time. Thank you again.
Thank you again for coming out tonight and for submitting your questions. I know it's a Wednesday night and you might want to, what's on TV on Wednesday, I forget. But anyway, thanks for coming here. I really appreciate it. I do appreciate all your questions. And this is very exciting for me to be here, to be voting. There's 7 of us. I apologize again if it's going to make it hard on you to pick one of us. I'm going to be involved no matter what. You're going to keep seeing me, whether it's on the elementary school board or later on in high school. Eventually, I'm sure teach one of your kids. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm a part of this community, and I would just like a chance to get kind of involved on a different level with this particular district. I think I have a lot to offer as far as my skills and expertise. I'm also a parent, and I've got another one coming into our district in a couple of years, so I'm not going anywhere. So regardless of how the election turns out this time or next time, I'm excited at actually the involvement that our community has gotten in this election. And I think it speaks to what we want in this community and what we want for our kids, what we want for our schools. And I'm excited to work with you guys further as we kind of go down this new road for our district. Thank you for coming out.
So I guess since we stood up for the closing statement, I'll keep it short. I really thank all of the candidates who are here. It's amazing to see a bunch of smart people in a table willing to dedicate time to doing this. For me, I think we are really fortunate to live in a community where education is so paramount. But every day we face issues from enrollment growth to funding, resources, curriculum transition. There are real tough issues ahead. But I think that if we work collectively as a community, if we come up with creative solutions and we are serious about how we approach school board, if you're serious about how we implement things in our district, if we are willing to look at all data, facts, if we are willing to listen to people from both the sides of an issue, if you're ready to listen, ready to act on these data, I think that's what this job requires. My background as a CEO has helped me, doing that. When to step in, when to step back, when to provide that leadership. When do you actually trust that your resources are working? When do you empower them? When do you think you need to intervene? These are the skills that I truly believe the board requires. I'm really excited to do this. I'm looking forward. I've served the district for many years. I'm going to continue to do that. I've already committed for more things than I can handle, which I'll have to give up if I get into the board. But this is fun. It's fun. It's what our kids deserve. So with that, I would respectfully ask your vote. Being an off-year election, not many people vote. It's amazing to see everybody here, but I have to remind people, go out, vote. Voting has already started. November 5th is the day. So thank you.
Thank you. 2 years ago, there was supposed to be an election, and nobody ran except for myself and Daniel Call. And it was like, okay, you're on the school board. You get your $375 back. All right. So I appreciate everybody who's run, and I know how much time you've all spent, and it's been a great experience to be able to get our ideas out there. I'm going to use this incident I mentioned earlier as kind of a microcosm in terms of the type of leadership I'd like to show. The two teachers come to me and they have some issues regarding the reading program, and they have some questions about equity, and are we doing everything on the same level at all the sites? And I start to have the conversation, and I'm a high school teacher, they're teaching elementary school. To be honest, I don't really know what they're talking about, okay? And I'm kind of confused, and I start to ask some questions, and then I said, what we really need to do is we need to do a study session, all right? I'm one board member. I can't do anything, all right? I can't do anything as one board member. I need at least 3, and you want to have 5. And so what we need to do is we need to get the other board members informed, we need to be out in the open, we need to be transparent, get the information, and then we can make a decision. And honestly, that's the type of way I want to run the board. That's the type of way that we should run the district. Cloak and dagger is not good. We don't want to do cloak and dagger, all right? We want to be open, we want to be transparent, we want to get the information out there. I hope you give me a chance to do it for the next 4 years. It's been an interesting experience for 2.5 years. There's a definite learning curve, but I think we've got some great opportunities for the district. So thanks so much for coming out tonight.
So you've heard a lot of information tonight. It's a lot to take in. But I think that one thing you have to do is just maybe close your eyes and envision what kind of a school district you want. How do you want the interaction to be between school board trustees and our elected officials in Belmont and Redwood City? How do you want that interaction to be with our teachers? How do you want the interaction to be with our greater community? And when you think about that question, you have to look at me, and you have to look at all of the candidates here, and ask yourself the question, who is going to do the best job of implementing the Common Core? Who's going to do the best job of managing our budget? Who's going to do the best job of bringing everybody to the table? I think the kind of leadership that we need is what I talked about in my opening, which is transformational leadership. We all need to work together. Again, as I said, the result is important. The process by which we achieve the result is just as important. I'm really happy to see so many people here tonight. I think it's terrific. It would be great, as I said, if we had this many people at school board meetings. But I think that there are ways that we can involve the community in the process. I outlined those. And I hope that you've gotten a chance to get to know me a little bit better and my views. I welcome you to take a look at my website, and I'd be happy to talk with you afterwards tonight as well. I respectfully ask for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
You know, every time I do these, and we've done 3 of them together, I always feel a little bit like that proverbial ugly duckling. These are all fine people, but I just see things differently. And that's not good or bad, I just see things differently. I favor action over contemplation. I favor facts over feelings. You know, Abraham Lincoln was famous for, after being elected the first time, he appointed some of his rivals to his cabinet. Henry Stanton actually opposed him in the election, and Abraham Lincoln appointed him to his cabinet. And Lincoln himself wrote that he did that because it was the challenge of thoughts, the ability to have a catalyst in that chemical equation is what he needed to help guide the country through what became the Civil War. I wonder if what this board needs is that form of different thinking. The good news about this election is it's not a matter of picking the one best candidate. You're allowed to vote for 3. I would very much appreciate your vote, because I will bring a different perspective. I will bring a lot of your perspectives, and I will do it in a transparent way. You will always know what I'm thinking. You'll always know what concerns me. And you'll always know that you have someone who will listen to you, really listen to you, when there are problems. So I appreciate your support come election time. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for attending tonight. And I hope I've been able to answer your questions. If not, feel free to talk to me after this meeting. And it's most important for me to know that you are able to make an informed decision. And I think that's what our community deserves. And that's the only way that everyone in our community can work collaboratively with the school board as well as the school district to come up with the innovative and best solutions that work for everyone, is if everyone is informed. So from my standpoint, I think it's critical that there's diversity on the board. There are 5 people, and our goal is not to get into the district and micromanage what they're doing, but it's really to be kind of that sounding board that asks the tough questions and asks the right questions and approves or suggests changes to recommendations that come our way and enable the district to make positive change. From my standpoint, I have a lot of experience in balancing supply and demand. That's what I do for a living as a supply chain manager. So I'll be able to make sure that all the tough questions are answered as far as making sure that there's enough capacity for our increasing enrollment and understanding what's true demand and what's demand that we aren't sure about and planning for what we know and still having room to grow beyond that. I think also I have a lot of experience in operations and efficiency, and I'll always be considering those operational implications of every decision that is being made and have that viewpoint. And lastly, the other thing that makes me a diverse member, if I should be elected to the school board, is that I'm an Asian female, a mom of young kids. I have that experience of being new to the district and the critical importance that communication plays in making the new families informed participants of our school district. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all the candidates in the audience for their participation tonight in the public forum. And the candidates will be available to speak to you guys until 8:30. Really quickly, I just want to announce a couple meetings. Monday, October 28th at 6 p.m., there will be a Bond and Measures INA Citizens Oversight Committee meeting at the district office. And on Monday, November 18th at 6 p.m. at the district office as well, there will be a G&U Parcel Tax Oversight Committee. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you all for coming tonight. Just a quick logistical note, if people could help us to fold up the chairs and put them against the side, that would help us a lot to close up for the night. Thank you so much, and please stay and enjoy the refreshments and connect with the candidates. Bye-bye.